So here we are in Labrador. We're gonna be doing some bear trapping. I'm gonna be using an Aldrich trap to trap these bears. So I'm changing it up from my last videos where you guys see me using normal bait barrels and stuff like that with the holes in the side, because I'm not gonna be shooting from a shooting lane or anything like that, or a stand. So I need a feeder barrel. So all a feeder barrel is, if you're not aware, is just a normal barrel with smaller holes in it. The bear basically gotta push it around and it feeds a little bit on the ground and they can eat, and it just slows them down from being able to engorge in on the food. We're out in the middle of nowhere here now. I don't even have cell service at this location, so essentially I'm not going to be able to get out here every day. I'm going to fill this thing up and I'm going to throw some stuff around. We're going to get the bears into the area. I got lots of table scraps. I got stuff left over from when I was hunting rabbits and stuff like that. I got lots of popcorn. I got some dog food. I got cooking oil. And the whole purpose right now is to get some bears in the area, get the scent spread, and get more activity on it. So what I want to do is I want to be inside of a canopy because I don't want too many crows coming and picking and eating all the food on me. So what I've done is this little spot, because if you look around, you see the trees are kind of somewhat sporadic. There's not a heavy, dense, high canopy like we had in New Brunswick. Rabbit buttons. Oh, there's rabbits in here. Anyways, this tree here is where I'm going to hook up the feeder barrel. So the bears are free to come in here and out the other side. It's kind of like a little circle, but it also hides it from a lot of the birds. Come around over here. So once I got bears in the area, I'll be coming to these two trees to set up the actual trap. And I'll explain that later on when I actually come down to set up the trap, but why I'm using two trees like this, just to be a little more humane on the bear. An Aldrich trap is essentially a trap that goes around their paw and it holds them until you can come in and harvest them and kill them. Now we came down here, was it yesterday? When did we come down here?
Day before.
Day before. And we scouted out the area. So this spot, if you look over there, you actually see another barrel. This spot actually belongs, I should say belongs to, but it's used by my buddy who I work with, and he's not around, he's not doing any hunting. He's got his moose license this year, so he's concentrating on that. So he told me to go ahead and use this spot. So I came down and scoped it out, and we found paw prints on the ground and, you know, some activity. There's lots of berries and stuff around for the bears to graze on. So there's good sign here. There's a water source just down over the hill about, I said, maybe 15 yards or so. So I'm just gonna chain it to the tree. Peanut butter bottle from last year. This is just a cheap bag of dog food. You can pretty much use anything to bait in a bear, especially this time of year. We're gonna head into fall. So bears are wanting to put on fat now, so anything high in carbohydrates, they're gonna love. Cheap dog food, believe it or not, has a lot more carbohydrates than more expensive dog food. There's a lot more wheat in it. It's a good, quick alternative. I'm not baiting for an extended period of time like I was in New Brunswick, where I'm sitting over a bait barrel for, like, you know, I'm baiting for weeks and stuff like that. I'm baiting until I have good activity, and then I'm putting up my trap. I've said before, like, you can pre-season a bear if you feed it like a lot of sweets and stuff. The meat will take on that flavor profile. I'm not really worried about it right now, because especially if you're taking a look, the blueberries that are around, there's so many of them. So the bears around this area, they're already gonna have pretty good tasting meat. And we have just popcorn. Lots and lots of popcorn. And the oil that I made this popcorn with is old cooking oil that I've deep fried fish and stuff in.
Did you try it?
Popcorn? I also put some salt on it, I forgot to tell you. Pickling salt, we had a container of pickling salt. I threw a whole bunch on it, especially this time of year. They're gonna love salt because it's still pretty warm outside, hot. They're drinking lots of water. I don't want to put too much gross stuff in the feeder barrel, so that's a nice bit of stuff in there now. As you can see, I'm not gonna fill it more than halfway, simply because
Way too heavy?
if once it's tipped over this big hole, it's just gonna keep coming out of that hole. So, and then the bear comes along, wants more food, moves the barrel. It drops a little bit of dog food, a little bit of popcorn. They chew at it, they move the barrel again. You got it. All right, so that one I'm gonna put over here. That's
What's
gross.
in that one?
That one is rotting. It's in a bag, in a bucket, left outside in the heat for a few days. That's rabbit innards and fur and everything from the winter bass. This is just table scraps. Oh, there's a chicken foot. Oh, that's when you made broth. All right, so I'm just gonna throw that into the base of the trees. Like that. Ugh. Same thing, just table scraps. Spread the love. This is beef finisher. So if you've watched my other videos, which I do recommend you go check out, because I have a bunch of other videos on bear hunting and honey burns and baiting and all that stuff. This is what they use for cows when they sent them off to slaughter. They start fattening them up with this. Never mind, it's just corn. Anyways, beef finisher is just a bunch of barley, corns, and wheats and stuff like that, and it's soaked in molasses and dried, so it's got a really sweet flavor, and it fattens bears up real quick. So this is just corn. I thought it was beef finisher, but that's okay. Oh, there we go. So this is the ooh, it stinks. That's blood.
Let me move out of the way before you toss that bucket.
Rabbit and there's grouse and ptarmigan. Well, flies are flying out of it. That's all that is, man. It's just rotten flesh. This is my stink bait for the year. Game trail comes through there, so I don't want to dump it on the game trail. Wow. Nice. That's all the innards. This was an entire rabbit that was a little too close to my shotgun, and yeah. Nice. That smell will pick up with the wind and just move across this valley. That's all I use a stink bait for, is just, they're very curious creatures, right? Bears are intelligent, like dogs. I mean, they smell something that we find absolutely appalling, and they're just like, what is that? Let's go check it out. Then they come here, and there's a little treat, and then before they know it, I'm eating them. Just all entrails. Just kick around. Easy enough. Best thing about the cooking oil is that it gets on their fur. So if you have, even say if you have a small bear come in, the bear walks through the oil, it gets on their fur, or a raccoon, any animal really. When they leave, they drag that scent out to the other game trails, and they broaden your range. So if you get some activity, that's why raccoons, so it's fine to have raccoons on your bait site. They're just gonna extend that range. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm taking some oil and I'm throwing it around the area. I'll throw a little bit on the barrel. A little bit on the barrel like that, because they're obviously gonna have to touch the barrel to move it. And then anywhere they're walking, I'll just sprinkle it around on all the game trails. And some of this oil will throw up high up into trees, so the wind can drag it out a little farther. And then the last thing I like to do, looks like a restaurant here now, is this is just literally a bunch of Kool-Aid, and I'm just gonna spray that up trees all over the place. That'll create a nice sweet smell too. A bear's sense of smell is extremely, extremely good, and as they age, their sense of smell gets better as their eyesight starts to fail. So what ends up happening is, when you smell, let's say if you smelled an apple pie, you know what it smells like, right? A bear can distinguish between it being an apple pie to be apples, the crust, the filling, the other ingredients of it. They can actually determine the different smells amongst a group of smells. We have a nice wind coming down this way too, which is spreading across that valley over there. I also like to just give it a little extra spray around where we've been walking. And the last thing I'm gonna do is take this Kool-Aid mix. Throw it into the trees like that.
Why are you adding dry stuff to wet stuff?
So the reason why I'm doing it this way is because, like, when the trees are wet, like I just sprayed these trees, so I'm throwing this on it so it'll stick to the wetness and almost caramelize through the tree. Then when we get our next rain, it'll actually reactivate the crystals that are stuck to the tree. Don't tell our kids. Here's a quick little video just to show you guys how I baited the feeder barrel. And the next time you'll see me, I'll probably be down here setting up the trap, and we'll be getting a bear very soon. So stay tuned, remember to subscribe so you can see the rest of this, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot. God bless.